What did your friend do that accidentally turned you on? This one girl started tickling me. When I started tickling her back, she started to moan and said she was sensitive there. Awkward drive home. Oh, I know that feeling. Except that in my case, my friend and I were watching a movie down in his parents' basement back in high school. It was a little chilly and we were kind of playfully fighting over the throw blanket. It turned into a bit of a tickle fight, but I was winning because I am not ticklish except for a few extremely sensitive places, whereas he was ticklish everywhere. He told me it wasn't fair that he couldn't tickle me since my only ticklish spots are the sides of my breasts and back of knees. I dared him to try it, thinking he never would as he was a good Christian boy. He absolutely went for it and tickled me unmercifully for about a minute until it morphed into complete and total desire. He could absolutely tell the second it changed and we ended up making out. I absolutely would have effed him then and there, but we never went any farther. We never had a repeat of the makeout session, but there was always a huge amount of sexual tension between us after that and it really kind of ruined the friendship. Oh Lord. Funnily enough, I was also the good Christian boy. Except a few weeks later we actually did end up doing it in the library where she worked. Wasn't my idea, she brought me there saying she needed help moving something after hours. Before I knew it she was on top of me. As a guy I decided to fall asleep on a close friend's lap who then proceeded to stroke my hair and lightly pulling it. It was really hard to fall asleep because I was more worried that I'd get a boner from that. A group of us went to a firework display and during the usual louder and bigger finale firework she jumped, grabbed my arm tight and didn't let go. Not sure what happened inside me but yeah, that did it. That's some anime crap right there. Now we just need the part where she confessed but the fireworks were too loud and you couldn't hear it. Anime ending theme song swells, credits pass by in a corner of the screen, end of season. You've seen too many slice of life anime because you were able to describe that perfectly, but I too have seen too many because I was able to imagine that with audio and visual. He was driving and I was riding shotgun. He had to reverse to parallel park and turned his torso towards me, putting his arm around my seat in order to look back. He did that so confidently and effortlessly that it made me feel a little funny. You mean my good parking skills could actually be useful? A colleague friend took care of my wounded knee during work. We were alone in the canteen and he was very sweet and caring. Guess I'm not used to that. Edit, spelling. Are you me? I cut my hand at a previous job pretty good, and my coworker came and he bandaged my hand up and I was like damn boy. Just being cared for like that is such a turn on. Ruffled my hair. It wasn't that big a deal, but she was one of my close friends and that just... wow. Benjamin, I thought you were gay. No, you're the one who's gay. His name is missing punctuation, it should be, you're gay, friend. Benjamin. I remember a girl classmate friend liking the smell of my deodorant and just grabbing onto my arm and then proceed to walk beside me. What kind of deodorant? Nivea Men Fresh Active Deodorant. Nice job Nivea Men Fresh Active Deodorant marketing team. Write that down. What guys who use Axe think would happen to them? I've used Axe and Speedstick. I always get comments on Speedstick. Top comment, you smell like my dad. We were neighbors, she just kicked out her ex-BF, and we lost power due to an ice storm. The power was restored later, but her heat wasn't working right. She called it in, but the maintenance people were busy with calls to fix heat in other units too. We were hanging out at my place watching movies and basking in my heat, though it was still chilly. So we were sharing a blanket on the couch, snuggled up together, and drinking whiskey. She passed out on the couch, so I put on an extra blanket on her and went to my room. About 1 hour later, she walks into my room and just falls into bed next to me, gets under the covers, snuggles up to me, then says I'm cold and passes out. I don't know, maybe I felt wanted and that she came to me for comfort. We didn't hook up or anything. The next morning she woke up, and she made me breakfast, and went back to her apartment to get her heat fixed. Edit, WTF happened between me posting this and now? Thanks I guess. Basking in my heat. It took me a while to realize you weren't just emanating heat like a human radiator. Whisper in my ear. Instant boner. Omelette du fromage. She asked me to touch her thigh. She was very proud of them after working out. Little did she know I really like thighs. We're engaged now. Narrator, she knew. Was very cavalier about getting changed in front of me. Just taking her bra off under her top to get comfortable is a good one too. Wow. My brain just involuntarily played back a highlights reel of every time this has happened for me. Be in my bunk. What? WTF, why is this happening to everyone? We were sitting on her couch watching Thor Ragnarok, finished our Chinese food. She went got a pint of Ben & Jerry's out of her freezer and she sat sideways half on my lap and took turns taking a bite and feeding me a bite. It was oddly intimate, but she'd made it clear she was convinced if we started to date we'd end up married, and she wasn't sure she was ready for that. 6 months later we were dating, 6 months after that we were married, coming up on our 2-year anniversary. She looks over at you. This is all your fault. Absolutely effing wholesome. No, we aren't dating, I don't want to be married, oh crap, how am I married? I was making coffee in my AeroPress for us and pressing slowly on the top of it like you're supposed to, when she shouldered me over a little and leaned on my hand to push it down faster. It was cute as F and I'll never forget it. Edit, oh crap. This is too many upvotes, she's going to see it. Hi. Sorry. Damn /r/coffee has finally primed itself for horny jail, Reddit link. They also all have murderous rage because he pressed the button too fast. Choked me playfully. Shocked the hell out of me. Now, Christian. Remember Jesus. When she put her hands on the back of her neck while leaning on the table and her eyes never left yours while listening to you. Instant turn on. Edit, hand. Yes, I can picture this way too easily. I slept over my friend's house because it was late and I didn't feel like driving home. She walks out of the room to change into what she sleeps in, which was a sleeveless band shirt with holes in it. The armholes were stretched and showed side boob, no bra, and just underwear bottoms. I made a move and we're married now. She insists to this day that she had no intention of seducing me. It's just what she's comfortable sleeping in. Saw side boob and lived happily ever after. Beautiful story. From the first moment I saw your side boob, I knew you were the one for me. His wedding vows probably. How did you make the move in that situation? We were watching movies and she was comfortable. I put my arm around her and she went with it. Totally got a mutually interested vibe and we kissed. In high school, a girl I hung out with changed clothes in front of me on the basis that, well, you've seen me in a bikini so whatever, and I was like, yup. Decide to randomly put their legs on your lap to sleep while in a car. Have this friend of mine. One day at home while we were drinking with some other friend, she started singing. At that moment I looked at her and didn't just see my friend, I saw a very attractive young woman. I sometimes still see that moment when I look at her and shake the thought away. About a year ago I had the same thing with my girlfriend before we got together. I have had a thing for her for quite a while when this happened, but in that one night, where she drove me home from a festival at like 4 a.m, she started to sing randomly to a song I happened to like very much at the time, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. I must have stared because suddenly she stopped and asked if I stared because I liked it or because of something else. So then I told her that I really liked her singing, which she obviously denied because her singing was horrible. We said goodbye and I thought about what happened for the next few days. A week later I decided to ask her out and we are still together 1 year later. Edit. Quite a few people have asked which song it was that she sang along to. I unfortunately can't remember which song it was, but if I recall correctly, it was a song still popular at the time, similar to Louis Capaldi's Someone You Loved But Not That One, since it wasn't out at the time. Edit 2. Thanks to user alpenglow_, I found out which song it was. It was Be Alright by Dean Lewis. People. Edit 3. Could actually have been Someone You Loved, since he apparently played it live before he released it in late 2019, as user with regard for human life pointed out to me, but I don't know. I like both songs very much. Reddit link. The power of the SpongeBob theme song. A girl I became friends with on a school trip in high school fell asleep on my shoulders on the ride back. I'm 28 and I'm still coasting on that memory. An old friend of mine did this when I had a huge crush on her in high school. We're both happily married separately and still friends, but I still think about that night. It was just nice. John? You promised me you were over her. A core memory. The last guy I had a crush on, he was my boss. He was walking and folding his sleeves the same time, and I was looking at him because it was such a simple thing, but damn, I couldn't work the entire day. I had to call a friend to calm down. Lol, great. Now the crush has resurrected. Edit. Thank you all for your comments. I am really loving reading them all. Keep them coming. I haven't been able to stop smiling since I wrote this. Every guy on Reddit, write that down, write that down. When I was a junior, I grew my hair out and had it cut to a 10 inches tail. I'm sitting in class one day and my classmate behind me starts gently running her fingers through it. I melted into my chair. My dad used to give me a buzz cut. 7th grade, year 8, I came to school with a buzz cut and all the girls in class just came to touch my hair. I got the best feeling ever. I was dreamy all day after that. Fingers through hair pushes one to horniness levels which shouldn't be possible. Washing your significant other's hair is one of the most romantic things you can do. Boyle quote. Notice. I always went by an abbreviation of my name. He was the only person to always use my full name. Don't know why, but always made me weak. Edit. My dad didn't call me by my full name. The daddy comments are creeping me out. And my name is Eloise, but people would call me Elle. Big group, 2 others share my first name, so all 3 of us were called by our last names. She would call me by my first name, and the other 2 by their last. I know that feel. This was 5 years back in high school. A female friend and I were put in a group together for a science project. We met up after school at her place, because no one was home and she didn't want to drive over to my place. As I was sitting on my laptop and reading, she scratched my forearm with her nails to get my attention. Man. Her look in her eyes and the scratches. I still remember that. The look in her eyes that meant, don't sit on your laptop, we have chairs. This is legit some crap my wife would say, laughing my butt off. The question should have been, when did you miss obvious signals that your friend is down to F, judging by all the replies? Half of me is happy that these people weren't trying to take advantage, but the other half is like, how did you misunderstand that? Edit. From the replies to this comment, I'm gathering that my perspective as a woman is more fine-tuned to picking up on when another woman is making a move. Good on y'all for hesitating if you're not 100% sure. I swear like half of these are she grabbed my arm a few times and the other half is she literally straddled me while I was laying down on a bed/couch and said I was handsome. Nothing came out of it. It's easy to get lost in fantasies, but the real world is full of people who act in weird ways. I made a move on a girl that invited me to sleep with her, but she was, actually, legit, swear on everything that is sacred to me, just being nice and letting me sleep in her bed so I wouldn't sleep on the decrepit couch in the living room. I was at a friend and his roommate was hanging out with us. I say roommate but she's actually their friend. I just mostly knew her as his roommate, and when I asked to sleep there, she said I could sleep in her bed if I wanted. She's a really extroverted girl, so we hit it off pretty well, so I was like, oh, right. Comes the point where she says she's going to sleep, so I'm like, oh, there it goes, so I play my part and go like, yeah, me too, I think I'll go with you now so I don't wake you up later. And we got in the room, still talking and asking technical questions like which sides do you sleep on, should I take another pillow, etc. As we're doing this, she's undressing to her underwear and grabbing a baggy t-shirt, and I move to her with so, do you want to sleep, or? And she gets really embarrassed and starts apologizing profusely for the misunderstanding. We ended up laughing about it. I admitted I wasn't actually sleepy and went back to the living room to continue playing with the guys, and they all had a good laugh at my expense about it, because they effing knew that was 100% her style of naive niceness that they keep warning her about, because it wasn't the first time it happened. We talked about it after that, and she maintains that she doesn't want to have this all guys only think about sex mentality, and I never showed sign to her that I was interested, and that if I had, she wouldn't have invited me, but because I acted friendly and never made any sexual innuendos, or looked at her weird, she just felt comfortable. If I were to say I was a friend's house once and his roommate invited me to sleep with her, she even undressed in front of me, but I didn't make a move because I felt she was just being nice. I would be ridiculed and destroyed to no end by guys, and nobody would ever even fathom that maybe it was actually true. No way, dude. A girl doesn't undress in front of you unless she down to F my man. But it was. I was once speaking to this customer and I couldn't understand her because of her thick Russian accent, so my coworker stepped in and started speaking fluent Russian, and I swear it was the hottest thing ever. I definitely have a thing for accents because that crap was putting me in some type of mood. F. You're definitely a sleeper agent, just saying. There was this one incident where me and this pretty girl went out for a long drive. We drank a bit, and on the return she was tired and put her head on my lap while I was driving. Pretty sure she felt my dick. That move is called a scouting mission. Revaginanaissance. Scouting ahead. Never underestimate the power of the scout's load. Absolutely no signs there. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.